Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is early in the morning, and I'm trying to get this video off to you because, well, it's been a few days since I've been on, and a lot has happened. Although, if you're not really eyeball deep in the political world, you would think nothing has happened. So I just want to give you a heads up because the energy suggests that things are coming to a head. And it's probably not going to make any sense to you and, frankly, most Americans. Here's the deal. What has happened in the last, say, 48 hours is that one of Trump's attorneys, now there are three lawsuits or three criminal cases, plus other cases going forth right now against Trump. Now, one of his attorneys, and we all know he's had a baker's dozen of attorneys, right? I mean, how many attorneys has he had, right? Changes them like some people change underwear. One of his attorneys, his name is Corcoran. Now, Corcoran is involved in the case that Jack Smith is investigating regarding the Mar-a-Lago and the missing and or stolen or whatever you want to call them, top secret documents. So what's interesting about this is that, and all of this is happening in secret. That's why we don't really know. What's happening is these are all grand juries that are secret. Okay, so we don't really know. All we know is that when they file when we know when the grand juries are meeting, like we know that they didn't meet, that Alvin Bragg's grand jury did not meet yesterday, surprisingly, and we know that Trump wasn't indicted yesterday, and everybody wants to know why that is and what's going on with that, and is he finally going to get off? And I'm going to tell you, no. As a matter of fact, it's worse than I ever could have imagined. And that's me with inside information saying that. But let me get back to Corcoran because this is super important. When you have an attorney, now this, I am not an attorney. I'm halfway. This is 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. Who knows what's going to happen? When you have an attorney in a criminal case, your attorney wants you to tell them the truth. Obviously, okay, yeah, I robbed a bank, but I didn't, shoot that person, right? So, okay, the attorney knows what's up. They know how to best lead you through the criminal process that you can hopefully convince a jury of your peers that you didn't do anything because they know the whole deal. Now, the problem is, you cannot be actively committing a crime when you tell your attorney. You can't say, yeah, I robbed that bank, and right now I know I'm on the phone with you, but I'm down at the 7-Eleven robbing the 7-Eleven, right? I mean, that is, your attorney is now culpable because you were robbing the 7-Eleven while you was on the phone with your attorney, right? So you can't be criming while you're talking to your attorney. Your attorney cannot know of your current criming. Okay? When your attorney knows that you're currently criming, you've pierced the attorney-client privilege, the prima facie, or whatever they want to call it. Once that happens, your attorney can be put on the witness stand themselves. Now, what does that mean? Well, your attorney, whom you've been sharing all of your criming with because you thought that they couldn't testify against you, can now testify against you. Of all the worst case scenarios that a person could think of that would be in this situation, that is the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario. So what's happened is Jack Smith, God bless him, has proven he's taken it to the district court and said, hey, I think this is happening. The district court said, yeah, we think it's happening too. So now he's going to be able to take Corcoran and put him on the witness stand. Everything that Trump told Corcoran is now going to be open for the jury, the secret jury, the grand jury, to know about, including the current criming. Now, as if that wasn't enough to make your entire day, let me add more. When they did this, when they went to the district court will act quickly when there's a grand jury, because there's this sense that, well, time is ticking. Grand juries are in process and they're taking time out from their lives. So they respect that. They always return, their verdicts pretty quickly. But the thing that was mind-blowing was that then the judge came back and said, okay, now I'm going to give Trump and his attorney, who's not Corcoran, because this is the previous attorney. Remember, he's had many. I'm going to give Trump and his current attorney until midnight tonight to tell me why I shouldn't allow Corcoran to testify. Midnight tonight. Like, this was like 4:00 in the afternoon. You got 6 hours. We don't care. You're going to burn the midnight oil to get this done. This is very, very unusual. Very unusual. Conversely, that judge gave Jack Smith until 6 a.m. in the morning to get the rebuttal. So this judge is saying, y'all are going to work all night. I don't care. Again, this is not normal. And just for information, I think Trump's attorney gave a rebuttal that basically was like the length of what I did on my summer vacation when you're in the 4th grade. And Jack Smith's attorney gave a dissertation for a master's degree, right? So there was a significant difference in the number of words provided in each of these, submittals to the judge. So you can only imagine who won. So why? The thing that's fascinating is, why did this judge force these two parties to work all night? Well, there's a couple of things. Judge Beryl Howell is stepping down. I mean, you get appointed to these positions for a certain length of time, and at that time, you step down and a new judge takes your place. It's a normal thing. So Judge Howell is stepping down, a new judge is taking their place. So some speculation about Judge Howell wanted to wrap this up. That is not the case. Judge Howell is professional. Judge Howell has done this. Judge Howell knows that the new judge is going to be able to take up the reins and keep moving. This is a normal thing, guys. It's not like this doesn't happen. Judge Howell has every assurance and confidence that this new judge is going to go to speed. That wasn't the case. The case was that this criming that allegedly was being committed while Trump was talking to his attorney, which pierced the prima facie, is related to the top secret documents. So, was this a national security problem? Did the judge say, oh, snap, we need to move this along very quickly because we need to get these national security, situation handled? This is of utmost importance to the United States of America. That's the energy that I read with this, is this judge said, this is extremely pertinent to the security of the United States of America. We're going to make you attorneys work overnight. Now, I think we know. I can't keep track what the guides are telling me and what is really things that Susan knows. But anyway, we know, whether that's the royal we or which we, I don't know. We know that there's still documents out there. We know that other countries have these documents. We know this. I know this. The guides know this. I have this strong knowing. Now, I'm talking to the guides. So now Corcoran is going to testify against Trump. I think this has come out, but if it hasn't, I'm telling you, he's going to testify against Trump. The thing is that there's this meme that's going around that Trump makes attorneys get attorneys, right? And it's true. But these attorneys, some of them will go to prison. That's what I heard. Wow, that's harsh. Jail or prison? Both. They're going to go to jail and then they're going to go to prison. That is crazy. Anyway, I'm thinking of Bob, I think. That one Bob. Anyway, let's stick to Corcoran for a minute. So Corcoran doesn't want to go to prison. He's like, hey, I'm an attorney. I know where the line is. I'm not going to step over that line. Yes, I was privy to these crimes that were in progress. How is he going to get out of going? Oh, well, he's saying that he's going to flip. He's saying that in exchange for my testimony, which I'm going to be honest with you and say that Jack Smith doesn't give a flying F. Jack Smith is like, in exchange for your testimony? How about in exchange for your testimony, you wear handcuffs to the courthouse? That's what Jack Smith is saying. How about this? You want to negotiate? I'll negotiate with you. I'll put a warrant out for you. I'll seize and search all of your phone, your tablet, your computer. I'll be talking to your secretary. I'll be talking to your peers. I will turn your life upside down. I'll drag you through the mud. You want to do it this way? We can do it this way. No problem. There will not be Jack Smith does not appear to want to negotiate with terrorists, is what I just heard. He's not going to negotiate with terrorists. This is better than I thought it was going to be. I was like, what do y'all want me to talk about? And they're like, just wait, you'll see. Okay. So Jack Smith is not negotiating with terrorists. So Corcoran, I do think that Corcoran so what they're telling me is, even if Corcoran is found guilty, let's say that Corcoran testifies against Trump and Trump is guilty and goes to prison. We already know that's going to happen. Let's say Corcoran then is brought up on charges next year, apparently, the end of this year, next year, brought up on charges. And what Corcoran is now thinking is that the judge does the sentencing. So forget Jack Smith, right? Jack Smith is going to nail him to the wall, but the judge is going to say, yeah, we're going to probably sentence you for 6 months, or it's not going to be that big a deal. Jack Smith is a bulldog. I mean, he's a pit bull. He's not playing, you guys. This man is not going to be cutting anybody any special favors for their perceived egalitarian, status. He does not care. He does not care. That's awesome. So Corcoran is going down. Corcoran's going to bring Trump down. Truly, this is the biggest deal we have going. This eclipses everything. It's just what the guides said. We have these people lined up. The guides have always said we're going to have Fonnie Willis. We're going to have Tish James. We're going to have Alvin Bragg or E. Jean Carroll. We're going to have these people lined up. They pose a significant risk to Donald Trump. And then Jack Smith reaches over, or Garland reaches over them, grabs Trump and says, no, he's mine. This is what you see happening. In the last video, they talked about a trident, which to me, you can see me in the video, so you can understand how I get this information. I didn't know what a trident was. I'm describing it as this, like I saw a triangle. I saw a triangle. And a trident is and I kept saying there's 3 points and the energy keeps going to the 3 points. Basically, that's a trident. I put it on the screen after the video to show you what a trident was. So you can see me trying to describe what they're showing me right there in real time, how I get this information. And you can even see, and I don't know if I have it. If I do, I'll put it on the screen, that Glenn Kirshner talked about the 3-pronged approach. This is exactly what I talked about in the last video. You've got basically Bragg at the moment, Bragg, Fonnie Willis, and Jack Smith / Garland is the 3-pronged approach that seems to be the three horses that are in the lead to take Trump out. Now, I do want to talk briefly about, because Susan's concerned about this. What else? Oh, right. Never mind. They want me to talk about Jennifer Little. Is her name Jennifer? She's an attorney. Another one who seems like they're going to end up having to testify against their client. Their client is Trump. This is a different case. So in two different cases, you have two attorneys that are going to actually testify against. You guys, this is not normal. These things are not normal. And as we get into this, you're going to find more people testifying against Trump that typically wouldn't be testifying against Trump. This is masterful. This is masterful and brilliant how these cases are being played out. And something else that I learned that also is masterful and brilliant. And I'm going to be the first to raise my hand and say, even as recently as 2 days ago, I was in my kitchen basically bitching and complaining that the DOJ wasn't handling this well. I mean, literally, I was mad. And then my guides started showing me, and I was like, oh, okay. I get it. I get it when you guys are mad. I get it when you say nothing is going to happen. I get it. I'm human. I do the same thing. Let me explain one situation where we can see with this information that there was really 3D chess being played when we thought there was checkers being played. Okay. So that situation is when the feds asked Trump's own attorneys to search. Remember when the FBI did the first search, they got their warrant, they did the first search, they found the boxes, and they had every reason to suspect that there were more documents missing. So they said, hey, why don't you get your attorneys to search your own residences, okay? And we all thought, who gets that, right? What person, you call your mom? Can you get your mom to look in the garage for that dead body? You know what I mean? Like, what person gets that, you know? In this case, we're going to let your mom look in the backyard to see if you buried any more people. Who gets that? Nobody gets that, right? So we're like, this is wrong, right? This person, Trump, is being treated in a way that nobody else gets treated. Why in the heck? And I was one of those people. Why in the heck would you ask his own attorneys to go looking for these documents? I mean, how stupid is the DOJ? Oh boy. They're so stupid. They're brilliant. That's how stupid they are. And apparently Trump and his people thought the same thing the rest of us thought. They're stupid. By having his own attorneys look for those documents and sign, and this Bob woman is one of those people, and sign, I am signing that I looked and there are no more documents. And then having more people go and find documents puts that attorney in the crosshairs. Did they know about those documents? Can we now, interrogate this attorney? Can we bring this attorney in for questioning? Can we prove that this attorney knew that there were more documents, even though they said there weren't more documents? Because, folks, that pierces the prima facie, that however you say that, pierces the attorney-client privilege right there. So by having these attorneys search Trump's properties themselves and sign off themselves, and we know we're going to find more documents, even more, all those attorneys are now going to be witnesses. They're all going to have to testify against Trump. That is brilliant, because not only is Jack Smith going to get them to testify about the documents, but because now they're considered a hostile witness, is what the guides are telling me, they can now be asked questions about all the other information that they represented Trump on. guys, this goes all the way to Russia. This goes, apparently Zoe agrees. This goes to other countries. This is big. This is really, really big, like monster big. So on one hand, I know you guys are saying, I know you're saying it. I agree with you. Of course we knew this. I mean, to be honest with you, when this all started breaking, in 2020 is what the guides are saying. Is that when it started breaking? Anyway, the guides told me this is all public. Everything you're going to find out is in the public sphere, which is frustrating. But what they want to say is, look at all the books that have been written. There've been many, many books written about this. And whereas some of these things may not be public, we knew, right? It's almost like you would say to yourself, well, you would have to be completely stupid, dumb, blind, locked in a cave to not know this, to not have thought that this was the case. For instance, the fact that Russia, China, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, that one really hurts, have documents, secret documents that allegedly, for my own protection, came from Trump. And something else I got. Oh, right. Something else I got that spurred me to make this video too was for some reason, Xi Jinping, or China's president or leader or whatever he is, remember that Trump really didn't like him. Remember how Trump kept going, China, China, China. I mean, instead of Russia, 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 he was going China, China, China. He kept really vilifying China. Now, I'm not saying that I'm pro-China or pro-Russia or pro anything. I'm just saying that one of the things the guide showed me was that Trump is mad at Xi because she took documents and didn't pay for them, which is, if I'm just being like connected to the guides, is actually funny. But when I'm like in human form, it's irritating, maddening, and makes me really, really angry. But the guides were making me crack up because they were saying that she was like, it was sort of like, and they always use analogies for a reason. Okay, so whenever you get a reading, especially from me, if they're using an analogy, it's for a reason. They don't ever say, it's like when you drive a stick shift and you're in neutral. Well, I promise you, if I ever say that to you, you know how to drive a stick shift. I would never use that analogy unless you knew how to do that. Okay. So in this case, the analogy that they're using is, it cracks me up because I was like, what? They're like, like I would know when you're doing drugs and you want to sample the drug. And I'm like, no, I don't know that. Like I was talking to my guides and I said, yeah, so to make sense for me, that would be like when the new Girl Scout cookies come out and you say, no, I'm not buying a box of Girl Scout cookies. I need to taste one of them things to make sure it's decent, because what's going to beat a Thin Mint, right? I mean, if you're going to crack that box open and give me a sample, now we're talking, I might fork over that money for that box of cookies. So for me, it was, Girl Scout cookies, because I'm square. I've never done drugs. I'm not saying judging you or anybody one way or another. I'm just saying for me, that's just me, right? But so it's interesting that they used that analogy with Trump. Okay, I'm just telling you. They were talking about explaining it to me like, hey, if you want to try this, you need to make sure that it's good stuff. Here's a sample. So that's the analogy that they used with Trump and Xi, using a drug analogy, but also that, oh, you don't believe I have the goods? Oh, you don't believe? Oh, okay. All right. Here's the goods. Take a look at that. You tell me that's not the best stuff you've ever had. And Xi is like, oh, yeah, that is pretty good. Thanks. Puts it in his pocket. And Trump is like, wait a minute. You got to pay for that. And she's like, I don't have to pay for nothing. And Trump's like, what do you mean you don't have to pay for anything? He's like, that was illegal. She's like, that was illegal. How you going to make me pay? You going to go to the press? What you going to do? You're going to send the army after me? You're going to spend special forces after me for a document that you stole? No, I'm not giving it back, and I'm not paying for it either. So that's why what I get, that is why Trump doesn't like Xi. Isn't that hilarious? I mean, besides the Girl Scout cookies and the drugs and all of that analogies, this Xi is sitting on a pretty explosive piece of information. Now, some of it was redacted, some of it was covered up, but the part that wasn't covered up had to do with North Korea, is what I'm hearing. And it's let's just say it's not information that they had before. They may have, again, they may have surmised that information. They may have thought, guessed, whatever, but they didn't have it in real, what's the word? Real, I can't get the word. Oh my God. I'm just going to go with real. It's not refutable. Thank you. It's irrefutable. Irrefutable. It's irrefutable. This information is irrefutable. Therefore, this goes from the we think this is happening to we know this is happening pile in the intel box of the Chinese government. Trump basically gave something away and got nothing for it. And that drives him crazy. So that's a little aside about his situation with Xi. And then other than that, I just would say several things that the guide said have already kind of come true, in the sense that it's been leaked that Trump wants to be photographed with handcuffs. It's been leaked that he wants to have a press conference. Now, there seems to be some energy that's mounting. So I don't know why I can't get to this, but I'm going to try. Trump is going to Waco, Texas this weekend. It's the anniversary, according to what I've read, of the Waco event, where the feds came and shot up the place. It's like, I don't know. There's never, Trump doesn't do things without a reason. Okay. He is very much a strategist. He truly is a strategist. You would be ill-advised to not believe that he's a strategist. You'd be ill-advised to believe that he's stupid. His problem is that he believes that he's an elitist, and elitists have different rules. That is where his blind spot is. That is where his stupidity lies. But other than that, he's not stupid. This is not a dumb man. And the way his mind works is very mobbish, very strategic. So there's a reason he's going to Waco this weekend. And there's a reason that it is this weekend. And there's a reason that all this is happening. And all I can say is that it seems to be a culmination of this anti-government rhetoric. Okay. He's going to draw a parallel. You're going to hear him talk about those poor people that died in Waco. He really is. It's going to blow people's minds. Why it would blow anybody's mind at this point? He's clearly an enemy of the state. But people still are surprised when they find out he's an enemy of the state. I don't know how much more you need to know to prove that, but the media is always like, in an unbelievable comment, Trump draws, a connection to the government attacking of Waco to the government attacking of him. Yeah, that's news to you. Okay, right? So again, the majority of America is not paying attention to this the way we are. And there is this energy of the enemy of the state, this energy of ginning up fear that the government is coming to get you. So that energy is kind of coming to a head. To be honest with you, it is coming to a head. And what I see happening is there seems to be sort of a race, is the energy I'm feeling, that if they could potentially there's a divided camp. This is the problem. So there's a divided camp here. One half of this camp wants to indict Trump, wants to slap a gag order on him. Now, that's not going to be Jack Smith. Jack Smith's case is not ready. It's complicated. It's really complicated. If they can get Alvin Bragg to indict him and then slap a gag order on him, it could really put Trump in an uneasy situation where, do I go to Waco and flout, and just give them the finger and say, come and take it, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing that flag they fly all the time with the cannon, come and take it, or the snake, or whatever the heck it is. I don't know. He's basically going to be daring, right, the judicial system to follow up on their threat. So the other camp is like, we don't want to put ourselves in that position. There's always a camp that says, we want to handle this. We want to diffuse the bomb. There's always a camp that says, we want to diffuse the bomb. We want to diffuse the situation. We don't want to add fire to the situation. There's another camp that says, the place is on fire. It's going to get hotter. It's not diffusible. It's going to get hotter. So there's these two camps, and I'm having a hard time understanding which is going to win. Right now, this is 7 a.m. on the 23rd, Thursday. I'm thinking that the diffusers might win. I think the diffusers might win, and this is they're saying, give us one more chance to diffuse this. If it doesn't work, it's no holds barred. Then you gag order him, and then if he breaks the gag order, you lock him up. Now, when I read the energy, and perhaps you too, again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, to be honest with you. There's no diffusing. This man is not diffusible. The only way to diffuse him, period, is to indict him, slap a gag order on him. When he opens his mouth, throw him in jail or whatever that is. Gitmo, Jack Smith's closet. I don't care. We cannot throw him in jail. He cannot be under house arrest staying with Ivanka. That's not going to work. If I see that, I'm probably going to lose my temper. But anyway, he has to be locked up where he cannot have communication. End of story. And then we have to deal with the chips that fall. That's what everybody's worried about. What do we do with this? What do we do with that? What do we do if there's a civil war? There's not going to be a civil war. Are there going to be bomb threats? Obviously, already have been. Are there going to be people that pop off? Yes. Is there going to be a sustained, coordinated attack on the United States? No. No. Are we going to have some groups that are going to act cray-cray? Yes. Are they going to be arrested? Yes. We just have to bite the bullet and do the thing. That's where we are. And Trump is pushing us to do it, right? He's pushing us to do it. So that's how I see this playing out. One scenario is that Trump, they don't indict him this week. He has this rally. He says his things. He gets people all ginned up. All the people he's going to gin up are, right. Thank you for reminding me. All the people who are going to gin up are these already malicious. And I'm going to put something on the screen where one of the, this is just in the last few days, one of the malicious said, this is an analogy. They're trying to communicate to you what's likely to happen. Okay. One of the malicious said, hey, we would like to call a witness. We would like to call a witness to defend us. And the DOJ said, yeah, there's something you should probably know about that witness. He's an informant, and he's been working with the government since 2021 or 2022. He works for us. He's not going to be a witness on your side. He's going to be a witness on our side. You can't make this stuff up. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So the reason they brought that up is because if Trump gins up these militias, who do you think is embedded in the militias? They're not going to get far, you guys. The militias are not going to get far. There's really more could happen with lone wolves. The guides have said this 1,000 times. We cannot watch every weirdo, usually they're men in their mom's basement planning something. We don't know about them. We can't track them. But if you're dumb enough to join a group, well, we can join your group too. Okay. So one option, one scenario is that nothing happens. Nothing happens. Trump has his rally. He does his thing. Then next week, they nail him. The other scenario is they nail him today or tomorrow, and they slap that gag order on him and they dare him to go to Waco and talk. And then we see what the feds really are made of. We see if they're going to walk the walk, right? So that's kind of the two scenarios that I see happening. I cannot tell you which one is going to happen. I can't, it's free will. I don't, there's too many energies all trying to compete with each other. I don't know which is going to win, but I would say regardless of that, it really doesn't matter because Trump is history. He's in worse trouble than even I thought he was in. This looks like crimes that are the worst kind of treason. Go Google right now, people that have committed treason against the United States. Put all them together in a blender, blend them up, and you're still only going to have this much, a teaspoon amount of the treason that Trump did. Off the charts. And for our own democracy's sake, we're going to have to come to terms with that. We're going to have to come to terms with that, with the reality, and accept that that really happened. And we're going to have to come to terms with what does that mean? We're going to have a conversation as a country and certainly hold Congress accountable to pass laws or amendments that change this in the future. Right now, they just reminded me that I think in the Senate, there's talk, and perhaps in the Congress, because the Congress is the one who passes the laws, of passing a law that says, if you've been, what is the law? If you've been convicted of I forget what they're talking about. I don't think it's treason, but I think it's something under treason. If you've been convicted of this, you cannot run for president. I mean, our Constitution needs some updating, y'all. It's out of date. They didn't have cyber crimes. They didn't have the things that we have now. They didn't have cars, cell phones, computers, right? We need to update the Constitution. It's a living document. It's meant to be amended. We need to update it. And I will say to you that not only is Trump going to go down, and the guides have said this for years, he will bring down with him those people right now who are most vociferous in protecting him. So you see those Marjorie Taylor Greens, those Kevin McCarthy's, those Jim Jordans, and Lindsey Graham. Whoever you see shouting at the roof, off the rooftops, that Trump is innocent, you just know when he goes down, he's bringing them with them. So that, again, the guides have said this many times. They see openings in the House. They see Democrats gaining seats. Not maybe all of the seats that become open, but enough that we have a little bit more of a majority. And more importantly, they're telling us, the guides are telling me that the Democrats will have a mandate. Now, usually when you use the word mandate, that means that you trounced your opponent and you have so much of a majority that you can do whatever you want. You can just walk, you can, be the thing. You can be the power. Well, we're not going to have a mandate in the sense that we're going to have a majority of votes. But the guides are saying we're going to have a mandate in the sense that the American people are going to be so blown away by what they learn and so disgusted and so angry that those Republicans that are left in Congress, once they change 5 pairs of underwear, are going to be ready to be bipartisan. And this is what the guides have always said, especially in the last 5 videos. How many times have you seen me do this? That's what they do. Bipartisan, across the aisle, together. Now, when we have that bipartisanship, that's when you're going to see these federal, these United States laws that are going to come down, that are going to, no pun intended, trump the states' crazy ass laws about abortion, about trans people, about books, about racism, about everything. You're going to see laws that are going to be passed down that are going to override those state laws. That's how we're going to fix the mess we're in. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to take a minute. You guys, this is 6 months, 8 months, a year down the road. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, because I never do. In the next 3 months, things are going to be dicey. You're going to see flip-flops. You're going to see things that look like the Dems lost, that look like the Republicans lost. You're going to see a lot of back and forth craziness. But let me just help you go to the end of the book and read the ending. The ending is that Trump is gone. These Republicans are gone. The remaining Republicans are terrified and are happy to work across the aisle. We do save democracy. Everything turns out for the better. And listen, we had to go through this. We had to go through this because we have serious loopholes in our Constitution and amendments. We've got to fix them, including the guns. And I know they interrupted my thought, and I don't know if I covered, I don't know. They interrupted my thought, and I said, yes, I agree. And then I went on, and I don't remember what they said. I'll leave you with this. Interesting timing. Nixon resigned 2 years and 2 months after Watergate. Okay. It's been a similar amount of time since January 2021. a similar amount of time. This is perhaps just the time it takes in our legal system. And he was pardoned, which still is, some people still have a problem with it to this day. But it's not like this has never happened before. It's not like this is taking so long. It is true that it's never happened before with the espionage. It's true that Trump is going to break every historic anything having to do with a president. But we are on track. This is not taking longer than it should. We have a rule of law. We must follow the rule of law. We have to. This is our democracy at stake. We need to play by the rules, even if they don't. And no, eventually, the thief is caught. They might run free for a while, but eventually, justice catches up with them. And that is what's happening right now, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Take really good care of yourself. I will be back in touch with you soon. Stay tuned. It's going to get wild in a good way. For entertainment purposes only.